Welcome to SUFO Vancouver.
Okay. Hello everybody, this is Alok again. This is your episode 2. We are today introducing a resource person. I know him really well as a friend. I'll let him introduce himself first, and then I'll add a couple of tidbits on top of that. So Aman, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Aman Pla and I'm from India, and I've been working with Ava for quite a couple of years, almost like 2 to 3 years, and we try to build our own thing, which thing went well, but we'll share a couple of the things soon in this podcast. But yeah, so I have been working in this startup ecosystem for almost 7 years till now, and still working on it and helping people to build their product from ground up, from scratch. And currently I'm working as a CTO at Spark. It's a Singapore-based experiential dating app, and there I'm working as a CTO and co-founder and leading the product and entire development.
Excellent. That's sort of introduction. Just to add a couple of things there, we are going to talk to you about our failed startup. It's not completely failed. it's still on hold, and we have the products ready, and when the time is right, we'll introduce that as well. But there are lots of lessons learned there, and I will be taking one more episode with Aman to talk about the issues we came across. We're very wide-eyed, and we're expecting a lot of things to be done in a very short amount of time. That's a very, very valuable information for everybody too. So we will talk about that in another episode. It's going to be very interesting. So whoever's out there doing a startup, you might fall in the exact same pitfalls that we did. So it's going to be very interesting for you. And Aman has been working on startup field for a long time. I knew him when we were doing our work first. He's very diligent, very methodical, and it's a Swiss knife also, can do a lot of things from the same person. So you'll hear lots of great ideas from him. Especially important, the reason I had him on the second episode is he had always worked from ground up, starting from the first concept, and then let's go ahead and push forward. That's why it's very valuable to have him at this stage when we are doing our own product right now called Cargoose, which we introduced on episode first. If you want to learn more about Cargoose, you can go ahead and check our episode first. So we're going to use some examples from Cargoose. Currently, we're just getting started, so that's why it is such an interesting experiment. What we are going to talk about today specifically, the topic is marketing. Marketing for an early stage startup. We just introduced Cargoose. That's just a conceptual phase. For the last 2 weeks, what we have done so far is we built a website. We built some MVPs, very basic forms that business and drivers can put their information in, and we can contact them. That's very basic. As a framework, we have it ready. All we need is our first client, and that's where we are at right now. And we're going and talking to businesses. We're going ahead and talking to different drivers. We're getting lots of good thumbs up from everybody, but we are not getting any money yet. So that's where we're at. So Aman, can you talk about, since you have done this so many times, can you talk about marketing specifically for very early stage startups? So now we have the product, an idea for the product, a very crude product. Now we need to go ahead and then start collecting money from our clients. How do we do that?
Yeah. Thanks, Alok. That's really exciting to see you building Cargoose from ground up again. And I guess the basic 101 from like starting up is, once you have the product, right, then you just figure out what is your target customer, right, and just narrow it down and just pick few of them. Let's say 10, 50, 100. You can create a cohort of, let's say, 10 depending upon the business you are in, right? If you are in B2B, then you don't need a lot of customers to be in, because the sizable like ticket size is bigger than what is in B2C. So I assume that let's say if you are in B2B, so you need to just pick up few businesses who might looking for your services, right? Or kind of services which you are in right now, the industry, and just talk to them and just give them it for, let's say, a trial, right? Let them use it, or let them get your service to be used, right? And then they will give you the feedback, and then you cannot cash in from the day one. You cannot cash the money from the day one, right? You need to first loop in, get their feedback, whether it's a service-based business or whether it's a like product-based business, right? So you have to give them a try, and then they will just, it will work like a word of mouth, right? They will just recommend you to some other businesses. Hey, I've been using this service, I've been using this app, right? So that's how initial stage works for startups. Mostly, a lot of the startups, they just get into this ads or like paid media kind of thing, which didn't work well, because if your product is shallow initially, no one can build product from the day one mature, right? The product become mature over the time. And that's why every great founder who you will talk to, they will tell you that first go and talk to your first 100 customers and get them to pay you, right? No matter whatever happens, don't spend on ads, don't do anything until you get the money from your first 100 customers.
Excellent. That's a great advice, and I think we have done somewhat in a similar fashion. What we have kind of established between a communication between me and my co-founder is we have to be very clear what's the process and what's exactly what we're trying to do. If you're not really clear at this stage what we're exactly trying to do, it becomes very difficult to communicate with our potential clients. Like you said, we have gone and talked to a few business clients. It's B2B, so it's generally very easy to talk with business because business always has some problem. And you're going there with a solution. That means they are willing to hear you, unless it's something they have been hearing every day, all day about. If it is not a payment service person, if it's not a marketing person coming in, they are willing to hear if you're actually solving real world problem. And we have also done a market segmentation. We have figured out which type of businesses will be looking at services that we're offering, and we're kind of making a script, not written down, but we know what their problem is and how our product's going to address them. So far, we have talked to a couple of furniture stores and some e-commerce clients also. So this is where we have found the service that we're offering, Cargoos, which is a cheaper same-day delivery option. Mm-hmm. There's no such alternative in the market. So now we're introducing a new product class. There is the fastest delivery out there is Canada Post and FedEx. There's a 24-hour or next business day delivery sort of thing. So if you send it earlier than 12 this day, they'll get it next day. So it's an entirely new product class, and businesses are not relying, they're not expecting the customers which is going to demand that. So we have a challenge ahead of us. So with that, we like you said, we need to talk to our customers, and in really early stage, we can do a lot of experiments. Do you want to add on to the idea of doing experiments at an early stage startups?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So in terms of experimentation, this is the playground where you can do a lot of mistakes and learn from it and then improve on it, right? Because there is not that much on stake right now, right? And what I think is, in your case, what you can do is, let's say you have talked to a lot of people, right? The businesses, and you figure out that, oh, there is a problem, that there is not such demand for the consumer side. They want instant deliveries, right? So you need to just figure out a way where you can just create that kind of a demand, whether it could be, let's say, not organic demand, but let's say you place an order being a customer, or you ask your friends to place an order being a customer and ask them to just get it delivered in ASAP, right? A lot of brands did this. There is a famous brand in India, it's called Boat. So how? So it's a retail business. When they started, there was like no that boom of e-commerce. It used to like you have to go and sell that product to each and every retailer in India, right? So what? How retail works in India is the whatever demand is coming, the small shopkeepers or the retailers will keep that kind of product in their shop, right? They won't let any other product to be occupied on their shelf, right? So what he did is the founder of Boat, his name is also Aman Gupta. What he did is he created a perception of like kind of an inorganic perception that his brand is very popular. What he said, he said to his wife and his father and his all the friends that hey, go to this shop and just ask for Boat headphones, right? So now every third or second day, now people are coming, right, and asking for a brand which are shopkeeper don't have it, right? So now he will go back and then talk to Aman Gupta and their company. Hey, can I have some speakers of your company? So that's how you can even like build some like demand. And then once people, and I believe people love instant stuff because this is the era of instant gratification, right? Now everyone wants things to be done instantly. So I guess even if people are not aware of it, but once they get the hands on the instant delivery thing, it's gonna stick for a long time.
Yes, yes. So that kind of is very similar to what is instant your friction. When you are moving something, the first friction, the static friction is always going to be highest, and then once things starts rolling, the dynamic friction is very lower. So whatever gets you out of that mud, you can go ahead and do that. We don't want to be misleading, but that's certainly a very interesting way of doing things. We can look into that too. And then we were also talking about the idea of marketing in principle. Like this is a marketing exercise where we are basically introducing product to our clients, which is actually solving a real world problem. And so what we all want to do is a product-led marketing where the product speaks for itself, so we don't have to do convincing, incentivizing, coercing, things like that. It depends on the type of product, but I remember we were talking about basic principles of how to do proper marketing, how to do a proper startup at the earlier stage. You were talking about 3 Ps there. Can you talk to a little bit more?
Yeah. So far, like my overall like journey is still now. It's still a journey of startup, building a startup from scratch. I learned that very hard way that to build a successful startup, it's not a kind of a thumb rule, but yeah, this is what I discovered that to build to increase the probability of building a successful startup is if you set these 3 orders, which is like 3 Ps, I call it. The first P is people, the second P is process, and the third P is product. So mostly every techie, every new founder, they just focus on the product from the day one, right? I want to build this product, I want to add this feature, or I want to do this, I want to do that, and they just start selling the product. But what happens is behind the curtain, there are a lot of things which are missing. So the foundation of this is like first you need to figure out the right people. Right? You should be having the right people on the team who can execute well on this whatever idea you're working on, right? And then the third P is the process. If you have the right people, you need a right process to just efficiently deliver what you're looking for, right? And then the third P which comes is product, which automatically will be sorted. You have the first 2 Ps like fixed. So I can give an example. Let's say you have a really great product built, right? We have also built Deeside. It was a great product. We were trying to revolutionize the payments in Canada, but we didn't have the right process, and maybe we didn't have enough people, right? We were trying to do everything our own. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's not about like right people. It's like you need more people to compensate with your skill set, right? Sometimes we try to do everything our own and then we burn ourselves, right? And then it didn't take off. So that's one thing. Another thing is, let's say you have right people but you don't have right processes. right? So we do have right people when we were building B-side, but we didn't have the right process. We were just like, oh, whenever we think, oh, this is a great idea, let's do it. This is a great idea, let's do it, right? Without having a process in the place that how the products are shipped. So that somehow will derail you to building a right product, which is like what customer want, right? So ultimately you want to build something which your customers want, right? So that's how the whole play comes in, the three P's.
Right. Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. And then just to substantiate a couple of things, the idea of people is having the right people is not about somebody who is able to do a lot of things. It's about having the person who knows the industry that you're trying to get into, who has the experience, who has the network. And a lot of people fall in the trap that you want to be a founder and you want to retain the 100% of the company, which is generally not a great idea, because having 100% of something that doesn't work and having 50% of something that's actually working is much, much better. The idea of growing the size of a pie rather than having a bigger percentage of a pie is a very difficult thing to do for early stage founders, but it's a matter of something being successful, like you said. It improves the chances of a startup being successful or not. Depends on these. So that's one great part that a lot of early startup people miss, is having the right people in place. In our case, in Cargoose, we have a co-founder, which is Bikram Pandey. He has worked in logistics for the last 10-15 years. He knows, he has networks in the furniture industry, he has networks in other food industries, and he has done this job for a while. He can go pick up a phone and then call 10 people, and this could be your early stage, early customers. And he has already done that. It's just a matter that now they are looking for who is going to buy it, the product that is going to get delivered in a day or two. They have a system already in place. Now we're trying to disrupt it. That's a different question, and we're dealing with that right now. The next thing you mentioned about processes, and I wholeheartedly agree. Process is about automation. If you have a person who is thinking everything, even me as a person, I will think something today and then tomorrow my thought process has changed. And I want the whole company to change in the same way. People are growing. Every 6 months, you have learned a lot of things. You don't want to be, you don't want to have a company that just stops what it's doing and then do new things every time you kind of come up with the new ideas. Process is what makes everything work. Even one person don't agree. I don't agree with myself yesterday. You're not going to agree with your co-founder, and hell, you're not going to agree with 20 people doing 20 different things in an industry as you kind of start to grow up. So process is what keeps everything together and move it in a direction. And then I think you mentioned how easy it is to set up a process early on, and once you start to grow, then it becomes much difficult to change it later on. Can you speak a little bit more about the idea of a process, kind of setting it up in the early stage?
Yeah, so exactly. So the thing is, even as I said, like we evolve as a person, right? And so processes are there to just keep the checks on like what is the core basics, right? And setting up a process, it's mean like, oh, I'm not talking about just set up some CRM or some like strict rules. No, it's not like that. So processes, setting the processes at early age means like you need to have some boundaries first, and then you need to have some tools in the place which you can use, and some guideline or guide rails, right? Where you can just, oh, if I want to do this, so how I can do this efficiently without wasting a lot of time. So efficiency should be the core of this every process you're going to do, right? If it saves time, if it saves money, then I'm gonna do it, and if it's quicker, right? So that's how you should think about setting a process. So I can give an example at Spark. When I like joined Spark, it was a chaos, right? There was no tools in the place. Like WhatsApp groups are going here and there, a lot of multiple WhatsApp groups. No one is tracking to whom, like what is going on, like the finances, the tag. There is no certain process or flow of the data, right? So you can analyze what is going on. So the first thing which I did is I implemented few tools in the place so that I can capture the data, what is going on, and I literally have to enforce the team to use those tools. So we implemented Jira. Jira is a like kind of like project management tool. which any team can use, from software, the engineering team to till marketing or whoever, right? And then we started logging into their work, and then so the thing is now we don't have to check on the individual. We can just see in the Jira like what is the status of their work. If they are not updating, then we can just talk to them. Hey, what's going on? I cannot see the updates in the Jira. So that somehow cut down the entire time which we used to spend on meetings, the update meetings. Hey, what is going on? And then they share some idea, and then the meeting get derailed. So that is one of the example. Another example is we used to have a daily stand up, and sometimes, mostly we are also we also did this. Everyone do that. Like we do meeting for 15 minutes, and then that 15 just extend to like an hour,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what we did is we make sure that whatever meeting we will have at Spark, we will have an agenda. Without an agenda, if I don't see any agenda in that meeting's invite, I'm not going to join it, right? So that is something which we have enforced. So an agenda should have like what hours or what minute it's going to be and what section is going to be. So we just break it down, and then ask everyone to religiously follow it, right? So these kinds of things, these are the very very small processes which doesn't look like a very big thing, but it become a very big thing down the line when you keep following.
Setting up a process early ahead is an excellent idea. Right now at Cargoose, we're just two people job. We're talking on phone, planning our activities. We're not really using any tools at the moment, but once we start growing up and hiring people, that's when we will have to implement the process of communication and planning, things like that. So that's excellent. Once we kind of are thinking in this way, we have a great kind of foundation where you can then build more things and not have to do putting fire and everything, putting out fire in every part of the process. Excellent. So that also is very helpful for us. We are going to implement a lot of that in our work also. On the marketing side, we are doing a lot of experimentation. We're going to talk to them, and when we're actually talking to the business, we're not telling them about our product right away. What we are generally doing is we're going and talking with them, like what is the challenges you face in your business. If they're willing, they'll talk to you. If you have a good network, do good rapport with them, they'll talk to you about other things, like they have challenges with people, hiring people. That's not something we are going to solve. We are a logistics company, but when you are talking in general, it's always a great idea because that builds a relationship, and also on top of that, solutions can be cross segments also, meaning that the solutions that we are putting in place to solve the logistics challenges can be applied into a hiring process, who knows, but listening with an open mind is what we are trying right now. That's what I'm talking with my co-founder, like when you go and talk about, don't just ask about logistics problem, ask about just general, what are the challenges they're facing. The economy is a problem. Well, yes, the economy is a problem. That means you have to get leaner, meaner. When the economy is in a downward cycle, then always there's going to be upward cycle. That's when whichever business survives, does well in the downward cycle, always going to do best in their upward cycle. This is not a time to do an expansion. This is time to actually focus, cut the cost, get more efficient. So that's what we're doing right now. So that's the marketing process. Is there anything else you have suggestion for us in terms of Cargoose and what next for us ahead?
Yeah, sure. And I guess, as you said, like it's about relationship, right? I just have this one thing, the piece of it's just like come up my head. Like most of the time, we just like get caught up in this like business is about numbers, right? A lot of people just think in that fashion, right? But what I feel is business is not about numbers. I guess business is about people. And if people are happy around you, whether it's your partners, whether it's your own people, or your own team, then the numbers will automatically grow. And I guess the best example of it, like I guess, Momo Factory, right?
Yeah.
Momo Factory, you just care about people, you just care about delivering the great dish, right?
Yeah.
The great momos in the entire Canada, right? And now you see
Right.
the love pouring in, and you see the number increasing.
Yes.
So that's something which is like not very related into marketing, but eventually
Mm-hmm.
this also becomes a good marketing, right? Because then you have the repo, then the people talk good about you, right? And then it's just go like a wildfire, and it's go a long way.
Right. And thanks for plugging in Momo Factory. So for the viewers who don't know about Momo Factory, I'm also a co-founder of a restaurant chain called Momo Factory. And Momo means a dumpling, Nepalese version of dumpling. And we have right now 2 stores in British Columbia, and we're growing very fast. We're just in the process of getting another one. And then I'll be inviting my co-founders and talk about how we started and then the challenges we had at the start. Restaurant business is one beast of its own kind. It does not really relate with the others type of industry, and the failure rate is very high. It's the toughest business to get in. But what we had great people. That's what we trusted in. We had fantastic people who could do a fantastic job. A guy who is the best cook I've ever found, and the other guy is the best manager I've ever seen. These 2 people, a team, is running the ship at Momo Factory, and it has been now 3 years, and so forth. We have kind of out surpassed all the rest of the restaurants in our areas, when we're doing extremely well, and we're talking about increasing our number and franchise and all that good stuff. We'll be talking about that next time. Yes, so people is absolutely important. And then how to get those people interested in you is all about I think everything at the end of the day goes to the product also, in a sense. Like, if your product speaks for itself, if your product is actually solving the actual problem, then that will invite people, and good people invite good process. And I like the idea of product-led business, where you're not selling, let's say, a pen like any other generic pen, but your pen is actually really fantastic. It's 10 times better than the other pens, and once you kind of introduce you to somebody else, and everybody kind of word of mouth, it kind of grows from there. I like to be in that business, and generally startup is supposed to grow really fast, otherwise they generally tend to fail if you don't grow fast. It's different in that sense with other rest of the business too.
And another thing is, what I feel is, in terms of like the product-led marketing, usually a lot of people just miss on that. Like, the core thing here is, whatever you are saying, the product-led marketing means that whatever your product is saying that it will deliver, it should deliver without failing at 100 of time, right? If my product says that it will get you, let's say, transfer funds instantly, right, 24/7, right? So it should do that, and if it do that, then it serves its purpose, and then people will start talking about it. Hey, it's this is an app, it's just transfer the funds instantly. Where rest of the other apps, which like do a lot of marketing campaigns and but they fail to do what they are saying, right? So that is something which is also another key point is, you should focus on what you are saying and what your service or product is committing to deliver, and just keep that promise. That's it, and then it will work for itself.
Exactly. And general advice for those type of product-led marketing is always try to claim your product is slightly small, have lower attributes, so that when you actually deliver, you're beyond the expectations. So that also really helps in product-led marketing type of business. That kind of comes really close to our 30 minutes mark. We had a really good conversation, and we also kind of teased you about our past experience about Beeshive. We'll bringing that up again. It's not dead, it's there. We have fantastic product. We're just waiting for the right process, right moment to get that rolled out as well. So that's why you'll see Aman quite a bit maybe in future. Yeah, is there anything else that you want to add? Because that's everything I have.
Yeah, one more thing I will just add to your like I'll add my 2 cents on your last comment on that, like not committing too much and then delivering something which surpasses your expectation. I guess we should learn from Japanese companies, Toyota or Toshiba, whatever. So they never commit big things like other companies do, like whether it's American companies or German companies, especially in, let's say, talk about automobile, right? Why Toyota is so reliable, why Toyota is so famous across the globe? Because they never overcommit. Whatever they say, okay, we will get you this much of features, so, but the reliability of that, they never talk about reliability, right? And then it surpasses. So it's a kind of a really good framework which you can learn from Japanese culture. They never like overcommit. Whatever they say, they might like give you more on top of that. So it's something which always excites the user, right? And that's why these companies are right now in the Fortune 500, right?
Absolutely. Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Aman. Thank you for your time and wealth of experience. We'll be using that as we grow as a Cargus, as a company, and then we'll hear more from you in the future.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Okay.